Good evening and welcome, friends and family, and all rugby avid listeners to the Old and Young Scrum. Myself being obviously the older one, Simon Folt, and my young accomplice over there in Milton Keynes, young Sam Baines. Good evening, Sam. How you doing?
Always terrific. Always terrific. We got back in the stadium for the last couple of weeks. It's like ecstasy. It's, that idea, just sat there getting my drinks and the ball comes flying through the bar because Joe Simmons had kicked it. It was something different, something that I loved, something that I've been deprived of.
Yeah, mate, it's been, I've absolutely adored it as well. We've been spoilt with two pretty wonderful games. We've had glorious weather. We've had a crowd that, especially the Saturday game, the Wasp game. I don't know if you noticed it walking around, but everybody was so excited. They were just beaming with smiles and adoration to be back doing something that they've not been able to do for, 12 months. And it was special. It is a special place for us as Saints people, but also for we're one amongst the many, my friend. There's other people that love it just as much as us, and their match days experience is as good as ours, even though we're a little bit spoilt and we play around in the corporate boxes. Those that go to the sevens or wherever have just as good a day. So, yeah, really good to be back. Good for the club. They need the income. Let's not make any bones about it. And the players need a crowd.
I got a very special present.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that little WhatsApp you sent me. Where'd you steal them from?
Sam Matvesi still vying for the nicest man in world rugby, and to be fair, he'd probably win. Stood on the side, just having a chat. Socially distanced, obviously. To Lewis Ludlam, I was having a chat to Lewis Ludlam, doing some, doing that hard work for the podcast. Because that's how life is. And Sam Matvesi comes up to me, looks at my feet. He goes, "Sam, what size shoe are you?" Know Sam quite well. He's a really nice guy. I go, "I'm size 11." He goes, "That's the same size as me. Do you want my boots?" Before I even answer, he's untying his boots. Okay, I kid you not. These are the nicest pair of boots. I've got Dylan Hartley's boots upstairs. Okay, pinched a couple pairs off Dylan. They're not as nice. Now Dylan's boots are pricey. Pricey. Sam's beautiful. There's a simple way to it, yet they're so divine in how they fit the foot. They've got beautiful boot. They've got studs that are as long as my finger.
Yeah, he's got proper cabbage kickers in them, which is understandable. That the pitch is looking absolutely amazing. Well done to the ground staff. But also, I did notice, which you wouldn't have got away with in my day. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Sam's a hooker. I believe those boots are white. Now, what on earth's going on with that? You can't wear white boots as a hooker, surely.
Okay. Can I just point out, Sam Matvesi is a man that annihilates the pitch. Okay. Do you not see him play like back row a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, to be fair, I did. Yes, he can get about. We'll let him off.
We'll let him off.
We'll let him off a while. But he is. I tell you what, he was in the sevens long after you'd gone home and gone to bed, and well, hopefully. But I was in there with Steve Thompson and Simon Heaver, JP, Matty V, and Sam Matvesi came over and shook Wally's hand and said, "Mate, really good to meet you. Honoured to meet you. Really very personal," which I thought was a nice touch. And he was talking to everybody, and
the man
said, "Yeah, I'm a good mate. Yeah, he's a good guy. Good guy. What a pleasure to have around. Really, pretty typical of most of the sort of islanders. That's their temperament. They're very, very accommodating and very humble, which is a really nice trait to have."
His dad was a tin miner down in Cornwall. He did a really interesting thing in Bath. I'd advise anyone goes and watches it. I wouldn't talk for them. For the Matvesi brothers, they had a very tragic upbringing. Yet They seem to be these amazingly nice people. You know, Josh Matavesi is an
Yeah,
outstanding chap, along with Sam. I haven't had the pleasure to ever talk to Joel, but I'm sure he'd probably be just as nice. But let's talk about something that is just as nice,
yeah.
and that is the rugby that the Saints are playing. It's been very nice, and I must say it's happened twice. Wasps and Exeter. Let's talk about Exeter. We gave Exeter a run for their money.
We uh, we scared them. We scared them to death. I spoke to Simon Heath and Ali before the game and said, we ain't got a prayer here. And Ali actually said, he said, look, most teams they chuck all their effort into defending in the last quarter. If you can shut us down in the midfield, that's where we create and make things happen in the final quarter. So I don't know if Bordy had read the script, but we absolutely shut them down in the middle between the two 22s. We were at them, in them, on them, smashing them, hitting rucks, breaking them behind the game line, not letting them get that momentum. And yeah, I feel desperately sorry for Ribeye. Was it a red card? Letter of the law says yeah, so I've got to give that to the ref. There's nothing you can really say about it, other than any other day might have got a yellow, but went against him. But to have that spirit with 14 men to do what we did and keep them out until till that final score was testament to the camaraderie and obviously the team ethic that they've got working for each other. Never say die, and real exciting stuff to take into. No, this season's done and dusted. The boys need a break, but to take that momentum into next year, I'm I'm in awe. I didn't want to go home on Sunday. I enjoyed it that much. It's so good to be back, and unfortunately didn't get on the field down by where you did because I was entertaining and having a Sunday fun day. But yeah,
Oh,
again, second and yeah, wonderful.
yeah. I managed to get a quick chat with David Ribbons after the Wasps game, and I remember his quote. I've got it written down somewhere here because top level journalist here. I've actually got it on my notes on my phone. Just got to find it
You're
now.
like a proper journo now, aren't you?
Yeah, just
You'll be growing a beard soon and smoking a dodgy little cigarette like our favourite Terry Morris, God rest in peace. He was the Chronicle and Echo hack that would write nasty things about you if you weren't careful.
David Ribbons' words of the game. So this isn't against Exeter. This is the game prior.
Yeah.
He described it as tough, tiring, and relieved. I think the more impressive. No, not the more impressive. The more standing thing that I found was when I talked to Ribbons after the game when he won man of the match. You pretty couldn't have found a happier man in the whole of Northamptonshire. I talked to him after he had his red card. I remember he was stood there. He was lent. I remember he looked happier when he was in that super boot the first time I met him up in corporate. I had a beer in his hand and just he'd had enough. He loves the club, and I don't know why he hasn't been called up for England. What are you thinking about?
Mate, players player of the year, supporters player of the year, everything that you thought was, and I thought, they took him off to bloody England for the training camp. Thought he was shooting, and Baifs obviously they had the annual dinner on Tuesday or Monday, and Baifs kind of joked with him, well, you got a 3-week ban, you'll be packing your case, getting ready for your summer with England. And it was only afterwards Boydie came up to Baif and said, mate, I know you don't know, but he's not been invited. And Baif said, I cannot fathom what Eddie Jones is psyche is there. Tell me, apart from the guys that are going on the Lions tour, tell me a better second row in the country at the moment, because I'm hard pushed to, David Rubin's, like you say, a very nice young man, very humble, very bloody hard as well. I wouldn't want to play against him. He's one of the hardest sort of in your face nice guys that you'd ever wish to meet. Got that typical South African work ethic, and he must be, I don't know, how would you feel? Obviously adulated that he got the plaudits from his own club and his own people, but deep down, he must be thinking, Christ, what have I got to do? How do I break through? But normally, it goes one or two ways, disappointment. You either put your head down and go and sulk in a corner and cry and let it affect you, or you pull your socks up, tighten your belt and say, do you know what? I'm going to show you that you're missing out, and, go and have a summer of doing everything needs to work on, come back, twice as strong and force his way into that autumn international or again into the Six Nations. So yeah, I can't believe it. It's one of the strangest decisions, I think, and we'd love to get Eddie Jones on the podcast and ask him that question.
Simon, I'm stretching myself here, getting the people who I can get lined up. Now you're asking for Eddie. God.
Come on, pull your finger out. What's the matter with you? Never say never.
We'll get Eddie on. I will pester Eddie Jones. I will try. I'll be like, Eddie, you called me fat once in corporate. Okay, you're now coming on. Like, I've lost 2 stone in like 6 weeks. You're coming on my podcast.
Talking of fat, unfortunately, our mate Mr. Hines, who was due to do it, has gone radio silent on me again. His voice message says he's on holiday. So whether he's still sunning himself in the Lake District, but we'll get Fat Lad on. Don't worry, we won't miss out on a Martin Hines revelation.
We'll just have to tell some stories about him when he's on.
Oh my God, we wouldn't be on for an hour. We'd be on for 2 hours, and we'd have to be after the watershed as well. I'm afraid you might have to shut your ears.
He asked me if he could do the podcast drunk, and I can't say the other thing that he said. Not on here.
No, not with your age, no. But Wally said he'd do it as well. Wally said he'll do it. We'd rather do it face to face rather than on Skype. So that's another one we've got in the bag.
Yeah, we had some very good chats. I had some chats with a lot of the Saints lads, but they're in the works, and I've been having chats with also James Percival.
Yeah, another good boy. Yeah, he's going to do one with us, isn't he?
Yep, all big lads, and then I've also got my American market. Just
yeah, you're dibbling into the American market.
I've got my lads lined up from the States. We all love the States. Good old US of A. Have you seen about the States today? They want to have the World Cup there.
That's a good shout. Can't beat the States. Great place to go. I did. While we're on the England thing, did I read that Marcus Smith has not been involved?
Marcus Smith isn't involved because he's playing in the finals.
Right.
So that's the same with all the Exeter lads, the Quins lads, the Sale lads.
Okay.
And Bristol.
So he could get a later call up, or they're going to rest him because he's playing on longer into the season. What's the?
Yeah. So
because I guess he would have been.
He could get a later call up, but they've gone Jacob Umaga at the moment. What? That's a decent call. That's a decent call. I'd say Umaga is pretty equal Grayson though, but that'll upset a lot of people, me saying that. Even though Jimmy's a great lad. It's a good laugh. But did you see who is going? The fastest prop in the West.
Benabano.
No, Paul Hill.
Oh, Paul Hill. Yeah, I did see that, which again, great for him. Strange boy, nice lad. His feet smell, but he's a good guy, and I'm pleased for him because he's been in the wilderness for a while. His form's been up and down, but crikey, he can score a try, and he's got nice hands, and yeah, I'm pleased for him and Dingwall. Hopefully, Dingers will now decide that he'll drop the name Fraser Dingwall and make it into something a lot more English, and decide he's English.
Yeah, Fraser Dingwall went to bed for Boys School. Very nice school.
Yeah, I did know that. The one I was really surprised at that isn't going with Scotland is Rory Hutchinson. He was amazing on Saturday. And again, what is Gregor think? Gregor must have some formidable centres not to involve him. But that's Gregor's his own man. He'll know the whys and wherefores of that. But I think that's such a shame. I think he deserves his chance now.
The good lad Mitch is going. Alex Mitchell is going with England.
Good to see Mitch on the trip.
I've got 5 of his shirts upstairs now.
That's a little bit greedy, Sam. Really.
That's 5 years of sponsorship. That's 5 years of believing in Alex Mitchell.
No, that's good. Yeah, he's a nice guy. On his day, I think he'd have gone to the World Cup, if he hadn't have got injured in that Barbarians game. England Barbars, I think he was a shoo-in. But things happen for a reason, and he's got another chance now. So he's a future, him and all the others that we've spoke about at scrum halves. Pleased for him.
So am I. Okay. Now, there is some very important stuff that we need to talk about. Very important. And I don't mean just us going on like normal. Because, to be fair, I've lost the agenda and I'm trying to find it now. Who has Eddie missed off his team sheet in your view? Not Smith, because he obviously can't go at the moment, but who out of the teams that are available and the players that are available has he missed off that team sheet?
I've looked at it, and he's obviously rested the senior men, which again is a good thing. In terms of missing, I don't know. Is Earl going?
I believe so.
I don't know, because again he's involved with Bristol, isn't he, in the final? So it's very difficult to see an actual who he has missed, because a lot of it's being sort of shielded by these finals that are going on. So if he'd have made a decision based on that, then I think we'd have been talking about a different thing. But he's who are we playing? Canada and America and the USA.
Yeah, so USA, Canada, and Samoa, I believe.
Yeah.
It's
so
really tragic that they've got to be in the UK, because it would have been the 4th of July in the States, and then on Canada Day in Canada. That would have been an amazing atmosphere.
Yeah. But no disrespect to any of those countries. We should be able to deal with any one of those with it's going to sound awful, but with a second string. And I guess we will. But, that's part of their coming of age. And, Samoa on the day, Christ, they can do some damage if you're not careful and give you some injuries. So, but yeah, Eddie's got a lot on his shoulders at the minute. He needs to formulate a nucleus of a team, with the old guard stepping down. The new guard need to step up in the summer, and I think that's what he's doing. He's chucked a lot of uncapped and unknown, put them in that arena, see how they cope. So, yeah, a lot riding on Eddie, I think.
A lot of people are saying the man that has been missed from that squad who deserves to be there a lot is actually someone who we know at the Saints. He runs around very quickly, a bit like his dad did, and that's Holly Slyto.
Yeah, again, I don't know why. I mean, he has been injured for a while. He's really only had sort of 2 games back. You'd have thought, looking at, Eddie was obviously there on Sunday. He was there the week before. How could you not, based on those 2? But again, he's taken Cocker the Singer, who's a different animal, isn't he? He's like having Naivaro and Ollie Slyton. You pitch each one against each other. Both got different attributes and different facets to the game. But for me, young Slyton, Christ, he can tackle, he can run. He burnt past Bassett twice, and Bassett is supposedly one of the fastest in the country. And he's got a tenacity and a skill level that does make you sit up and wonder, is he a future international? Quite possibly. And a nice lad as well, good lad. Again, quite grounded, got his feet on the ground. not getting overawed. And I don't know if you met his younger brother last week in corporate. He's going to be good. Apparently, he's even better. So watch this space.
I never actually got to sit down and talk to Frankie. I did see him walking about. I never actually got to sit down and talk to him. He would probably be quite interesting to talk to.
Yeah.
I always find talking to the brothers when you've got two brothers or two sisters, because I know there is that in rugby as well. You get all the best stories, don't you?
Oh yeah, you get the dirt on them when they're, absolutely.
We need to get Alex Mitchell and James sat down together, because that would be.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Oh, Simon, tell me what in the rugby world you want to know about.
Rugby world, yeah. Tell you what, Leicester, Bristol, Saturday. All the shenanigans that go on. Lammy, Borthwick basically accuses my mate Pat of being a cheat. Lammy reacted, and everybody that I've spoken about. I said, "Who do you have money on?" We're all going with Pat Lam. We think Lammy had kicked Steve Borthwick's ass. The one thing I didn't like is, yeah, there was a certain amount of gamesmanship, but John Afoa goes back on the field, destroys Genge in the scrum. It could be said he bored in if you watch it slowly, as I did with JP and Heinze and Wally and those boys, and you watch him just bore in at the last minute to get the upper hand. But his reaction afterwards was very unsportsmanlike with Wrigglesworth. That's not the done thing on a rugby field ever. We're not playing football. But to be fair to Wrigglesworth, tough little fella, he pulled him over and dropped the elbow into him, which I thought was just. But yeah, there's no room for that sort of histrionics, let's say, on a rugby field. I thought that was quite, after all that had gone on, the tension was there, and that was just intimidating from afar. I didn't need to do that. He's a class act. He doesn't need to stoop down to that level.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not good when that happens on the rugby pitch in any case. It's don't need that in the game. But coming back to Pat Lam and Steve Borthwick, we're putting money on Lammy to win.
Oh, Lammy kick his ass every day. He's like
He's like a what?
Yeah, he's like a street fighter. So yeah, he some Polynesian like death throws or something on him, and Borthwick could be done.
What was the other one we were talking about at Saints the other day? Because someone else kicked off. Who was it?
Don't know.
Oh, I can't remember. No, but yeah. Simon, Sarge told me that story about you having your shirt ripped off by Steve Thompson very differently the other day. About you crying for an hour and a half afterwards outside the nightclub.
I didn't cry. I don't cry. I'm a big boy. However, I did get thrown out of the nightclub, which we'd got a taxi to. It was in the middle of nowhere in Brits, and I could not get a taxi. So I was basically freezing cold, wandering the streets of Brits with no shirt on, not a clue where my hotel was. All I could see was there's a lighthouse in Brits, and I remember watching the light and trying to catch. Oh, mate, it was a nightmare. But no, I didn't cry. Sarge he's a bit bitter because I said he was 25 stone. He didn't like that. And he looked very old, I thought. And his dress sense was terrible. I've got to be careful because we'll get him on the podcast and he'll get me back. But
for anyone who doesn't know who Sarge is, Simon will tell you now because I still kind of don't.
Sarge is Matty Stewart. He's the Scottish prop, played with him many years ago and stayed real good mates with him. We've been on holiday. We've been on a few beers, been on a few trips and kept in touch. And yeah, got a lot of time for Sarge. He's a lovely man.
It was hilarious. We'll have to have him on. I must admit, they did give you a bit of a beating the other day on the mic, though, didn't they?
They tried, but they're. I've got too much on them, so they have to pipe down. And especially you got to be careful when it's corporate and it's you can't tell the full stories of some of the things that have gone on. But Heinze, oh, what a boy!
I remember telling Wally and JP that we were doing an episode with Heinze, and they looked at me and they went, "So it's going to be X-rated then?" And I'm like, "I'm dreading this, by the way. You're going to love it. It's going to be hilarious, okay? And then I'm going to have to do the editing."
Now Heinz will be all right, mate. He's got some etiquette. He's got some good stories. He's a very funny man, and very underestimated as a player. He was a good player. Couldn't catch for shit, but that goes without saying. He's got the shortest arms in rugby, and the biggest chest. So yeah, we'll give him some grief.
Oh, yeah. We need to talk to him about the development of the front row. We put
Yeah,
out
exactly.
we put out a post the other day on our Instagram. Can I just point out? Okay, put out a post. All the people who are listening don't follow us on Instagram. Where you been? I know we're still waiting for Simon to get Instagram, but we're still out. It was actually
One day.
a copy of a Nick Autrick, Good Saints lad.
Yeah.
He put this out. I believe it's Twitter or an iPhone. It was the 6th of June. He put out the scrum knowledge of referees, touch judges isn't high enough for the potential outcome of a poor call. A live scrum specialist (TMO) is the solution. Happy to put myself forward as a post-rugby career. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's a dark art in the front row, and a lot of the times they'll look at it. Not so much now because the pitches are dry and it's a fast pace, but in the winter when they got a bit of soft underfoot, they go down, they go down, they go down. It must be a hell's own job. As I haven't seen many prop referees. Have you? They all seem to be backs, as far as I'm concerned. So to make that call, but most of the time they tend to even it up. I find. But yeah, it's. I always remember Gary Pagel saying that a lot of people used to cheat against him because they couldn't handle his power, and he'd much rather, you know, he couldn't abide any of the Leicester boys because they cheated against him. Where if you went up toe to toe with him, he'd basically just put you in the dirt. So yeah, it's a dark art, and he's got a point, and maybe he's trying to eke out a career for himself.
Nick Auterick's looking ahead. He's qualified for Scotland as well. Just need to point that out. Congratulations to him. Foley, I think this is all we've had to talk about today. It's kind of been a rant.
Bit of a rant, bit of a thing. We've had a good chat about how nice it is to be back at the Gardens. Unfortunately, we're going to have a bit of a break and again now till September. But yeah, let's hope that our number keeps diminishing and we're allowed to get back in. I can't wait for a full house down there when we can go and mingle on a table and talk rubbish, not have to wear a mask and all those ghastly things that we're having to do at the minute. But there you go. It's you'd take that for where we are at this point in time compared to where we've been.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, Simon. What a day, rugby. What a chat. Everything. I've been training all day. I don't know what you've been doing.
It's that little thing called work.
Yeah.
We were going to do a podcast last night, but unfortunately, it was too hot. I took the jet ski over to Grendon and had a few beers, so didn't manage to do it last night. But I will get back on track again.
We will do. Anyway, everyone, we're gonna unbind from this scrum because apparently that's what I say at the end. I forgot considering how delayed it is. No, only joking. Yeah, we'll unbind from the scrum, and everybody, feel free to send us messages on Instagram about what you want to see on the podcast. Don't worry, I promise I'm going to sort Foley's Instagram out for him soon.
The dinosaur will live again.
Yes, he will do. We know what he'll be following. It'll just be rugby, breweries, and other things that are on Instagram. Bye everyone. Have a good one. This is me and Simon Fole signing out, and we're going to unbind from the scrum.